Hey, you guys, hope you have a great weekend. I just want to let you know that I'll be starting some more of the videos next week. I'm actually relaxing right now, and I'm actually getting the information together for the missing person cases finally. And remember, I came across a list of hundreds of women of color that are missing. So the list was dated like a couple years ago. So I actually have to go over them to make sure that any of the cases haven't been resolved in any kind of way, and that in fact these women are still missing. So I do intend on putting those cases in, and I'm not going to just be doing missing persons cases. I'm going to definitely be doing the other videos, but I will be putting out a lot of them until they're all done, because it's just something I feel that, that I should do. So this weekend, I'm just chilling. I'm just relaxing. For some of you guys don't know, I have close to 7,000 VHS and DVDs, and I recently got a hold of my boxes because my stuff was in storage for a minute. So I recently got a hold of everything, and it was really like reuniting with an old friend. So I just started randomly watching some movies. I'm going to throw some at you guys. I want to see, we're on the same page when it comes to movies. I love horror and I love thriller. I just recently put my friend on to, he never saw the Hostel movies. The Quentin Tarantino, 1 and 2, 3 sucks, but 1 and 2, he never seen them. So he was blown away by them. They are so good. So we recently watched those. Let me see. I had recently watched, well, this is not in my collection now. I watched it on Netflix. I don't know if you guys had seen the movie Veronica. And being it's a newer movie, I think, or they're just now talking about it, I'm not sure. I never really kept up with Netflix, but I decided to actually watch it since it's on my TV. And I just said, okay, well, let me watch it. And it takes place in Madrid in the early 1990s. And her real name is, let me say it correctly, Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro. And her and her friends, they get together and they go down in some kind of dwelling. I think they're still on the school property. And they have like this kind of Ouija board. And they have like something that looks like a shot glass. And they use that to maneuver the Ouija board. Anyway, some smoke appears in that glass, and Veronica, who is playing the role of Estefania, she inhales that smoke and thinks she has like some kind of seizure during her time down there in that dwelling with her friends. Anyway, she brings back an entity or some type of demonic spirit back to her house, her apartment complex, which is not far. Now, Veronica is always home with her younger siblings. She has 2 sisters and a little brother, and she has to see to them because her mom, who works within running distance from the apartment complex, she's like a waitress, and she's making the ends meet because Veronica's father had recently died. I think that was the whole point of trying to do this seance, because she wanted to commune with her father, but other stuff ended up happening. I am not going to tell anything else in case nobody has seen it, but if you've seen it, let me know how you feel about this movie. I was looking at some of the comments of people watching this movie, and they were like, oh, this was the scariest movie I've ever seen. To me, no, it wasn't the scariest movie I've ever seen. But you got to understand, my friends call me the scream queen. It wasn't scary to me really at all. I just actually was more intrigued about what was going on with that Ouija board because I got one for Christmas. That was my thinking. I mean, it was a good movie, but it wasn't scary to me. To me. But like I said, I've been watching movies, scary movies forever. And there's some that if it's true stories or based on a true story, it may creep me out. I'm never just outright scared. I might be creeped out and a little paranoid sometimes, but never scared. For instance, my favorite movie is Rosemary's Baby. And it's the one with Mia Farrow, not the updated one with Zoe Saldana. I think that's how you say her name. It's with Mia Farrow. I mean, the one with Zoe, it's okay. You know, they added some extra stuff, I guess, to, you know, make it look a little bit newer and better. I don't know. But the old school one, that's the best one. And I remember when I was watching it, I was around 11 or 12. And back in the day, we only got like 4 stations. And I remember it came on WPIX. That was channel 11. And I watched it. And if you are familiar with Rosemary's Baby, she like hums in the beginning of the movie. And they show that apartment complex somewhere down in New York. It's a famous building. I can't think of the name right now. And that's where Rosemary and her husband live. And, it just scared me that I had to go sleep with my mom. And until I was like 12 or 13. So my mom was like, oh God. She's like, why are you watching that? And I was like, I don't know. But it had became one of my favorites. Another favorite is Burnt Offering. And that is with Karen Black in it. She died not too long ago. And if you are a fan of Rob Zombie's movies like I am, she was in The Devil's Reject. She played Mama Fly in that. And it's another good movie of mine, Burnt Offering. And that movie still to this day is good. I've never met anybody that has seen that movie. I was dealing with this dude back in the day and we were talking about horror movies and he told me that his girlfriend liked that movie. And I was like, are you serious? But then when he described the movie because he's seen it, I said, oh my God. He was like, yeah, that's one of her favorites. And oh my God, if I would have met him under any other circumstances, me and his girlfriend probably would have been best friends because she was a big horror fan from what he told me, but we were meeting under not so good circumstances. But anyway, the movie is Burnt Offering. Do you guys, you ever heard of that? You ever seen that? Go check it out. Another good movie. Strangers. Now, I never really screamed in a movie, but I went to the movies with a guy I was kicking it with back in those days. And we're sitting there and we're watching the movie and you know, other than the creepy music that's being played all throughout the movie, remember she's like in the kitchen. There's a scene where she's in the kitchen and she's smoking and she's waiting for her boyfriend to get back with the cigarettes. And the dude is in the house with her the whole time. And I screamed and I felt like a real prick when I did it because, oh God, I normally have it together, but it took me by surprise. See, that wasn't scary to me, that movie. It was creepy. Then I heard it was based on a true story. Then I heard it was in Georgia. And I was like, God, what's it? Columbus, Georgia? Because at the time, my house, the outside of my house kind of looked like it. Remember there's a thing where someone's knocking on the door like, is Tamara home? And I was just really freaked out by that. See, that's creepy to me. Creepy stuff always freaks me out. You know, not blood and gore. It doesn't freak me out at all. It's the creepy stuff. It's the stuff that is possible, even though we know now everything's possible. But yeah, another good one. And Beloved. Now that was actually based on a true story. And there's a book about it. I never got the book, and they say the book is even better. But the movie was good to me, and I think Thandie Newton, she plays Beloved, and it was around slavery time, and I think this white man was going to see if he can, find slaves. And when Oprah, the mother, saw him coming, she decided to slit her children's throats. I guess she was like, no, you're not taking them. I'd rather them be dead. And years later, because I think now Thandi comes back, or Beloved, she comes back, and she's like, maybe 13, 14 maybe? And, I don't know. I always thought she came back from hell. That's all I was thinking. Even though she was telling them that she had walked and walked and walked to find the place. And the guy that plays Oprah's boyfriend, he was like, no, there's no way. She could have walked. Look at her feet. Her feet don't look like she ever walked a day in her life. But the movie is good. And that's another one of my favorites. Beloved. Let me see your diamonds. I just didn't like the way she was talking in that movie. But other than that, it was really good. And The Ring. I love the movie The Ring. And in case you guys don't know, because I have also a lot of Asian extreme, and The Ring actually comes from Ringu. That's right. The Ring, the first one, the Americanized version of it, it's good. Oh, that baby daddy in it. Oh, he is so fine. I hated that they killed him off because he wasn't in number 2. And I like number 1 better than number 2. But I do like The Rings. And I actually have a short story about something that happened. This is after me and my son. My son at the time was maybe around 6 or 7. And we had watched The Ring together. And he went to go stay down at my dad's for the weekend. We actually dreamt the same dream at the same time. He was with my dad. I'm in my apartment. We dreamt the same dream to where I was outside of the door and he was inside, and that woman was trying to drown him. And I was outside the door trying to get in. He knew exactly what I was doing outside the door, and I knew exactly what was going on inside. That always creeped us out. That was the only time we ever had that kind of weird dreamlike connection, and it happened from the movie The Rings. Go figure. Now, the last one, Rings, I think they just called it Rings with an S at the end. That has the guy in it from Criminal Intent. He also is in another one of my favorite movies, which is not a horror movie. It's The Velocity of Gary. That's another one that I don't think a lot of people have watched, but he's in that. And I watched it because he was in it and Darlene's boyfriend from Roseanne was in it. So I watched it. I mean, it was okay. I liked it better than number 2, actually. It was okay. But number 1, you can't go bad with number 1. And my final movie that is another true story. Oh, by the way, The Strangers is not a true story. I actually read in someone's comment, they said it's based on the Manson murders. It's not. It really isn't. It is its own entire movie. The Manson murders is way different than that. But that's not a true one. It is kind of, but it wasn't based on a true one, I don't believe. The Burnt Offering isn't, and Rosemary isn't, but we always know that all these movies do have like 1% truth in them somehow, unfortunately. But Beloved is based on a true story. The next movie and the last movie I will talk about is I Know My First Name is Steven. Corey Nemec plays in that as Steven when he gets older. And that movie, it's not a horror movie, but it's horrible. It's a good movie, but what happens to this kid? Parnell is a predator and he preys on this child, and he gets his co-conspirator to help kidnap him. And he takes this little boy away from a house that has a lot of siblings in it. And he lies to him and tells him that his parents couldn't keep him because they couldn't afford him. And he tells him basically to call him, dad. And he puts him in school and everything. And he takes care of him as a father, so to speak. But not really, because he has been molesting this boy the entire time, finding hookers to come home when they're having threesomes with him. And, his life was hell. He does finally get reunited on some craziness with his parents, But he's changed, of course, because he's not the 6, 7-year-old little boy that went missing. He's now a teenager, like 14, 15. He's having sex, he's drinking, he's smoking. He's a very different person. And I mean, there's actually real interviews of the real Steven. And I watched those interviews, and it's a sad story. And Corey Nemec plays such a good role in this movie. I remember him from back in the day, Parker Lewis Can't Lose. My sister, she used to always watch that. I remember briefly looking at it sometimes. I wasn't like a fan of it, but Corey Nemec is really good. I like him as an actor. So those are just my movies, and that's how I relax, guys. I like to watch, watch movies and stuff, and I'm going to be probably talking about a couple more movies a couple more times the next couple of days, just to let you guys know I'm still here. I'm just working on these videos for this month. So you guys have a great weekend and all that. Be easy. This is one of my Christmas presents. It's the Ouija board, and I cannot wait to use it. I just know whenever I do my seances to make sure I say hello and goodbye. I think I might go ahead and go live or record the seance session when I do it, just in case we get some footage of the unknown. Do you guys have a Ouija board? Have you ever used it? Okay. Well, just checking in on you guys. Be good. Bye.